What's up, guys? Sorry we've been away so long.
Actually, that's a frame from the movie back there. It's being edited as we speak. Off and on.
Why don't you play that last scene while we're talking? They can't hear it. I mean, screw it, right? We'll start over.
I don't want to play it. So anyway,
sorry we've been away so long. We've been busy making a movie, and we are done with the filming, principal filming. Ain't that the
principal photography is what they call it.
What does that mean exactly?
So the bulk of the money, the bulk of the funds, the bulk of the filming takes place in principal photography. It's where all the crew is together. It's where all the expensive equipment is together, and that's where the bulk of the 95% of the script is done in a span of a few weeks. So you do all your camera rentals, and so in our case it was about three weeks or so, and that's where you do most of the filming. But what happens is you go into, or you get out of filming and you start going into editing, and you're like, okay, I got to get that. There's a little pickup shots, is what they call them. It helps with editing. So if somebody's going to peel off into a car, it's like, yeah, I really wish that I had a quick shot of somebody's foot on the accelerator, so it could just kind of help sell that in editing. So that's the kind of things that need to be shot here and there, but that's normal. Every production has that. So, but you never know what you need until you get into editing and kind of start seeing how you screwed up and what things need to be there and what things are more important to get down the road.
Well said. So,
yeah. So anyway, quite the learning experience for me. I mean, what did you think of going into it, and would you?
Man, well, I never thought it was going to be easy, but you don't really know what's involved with making a movie until you're actually in it and doing it. There's so many things that go into a movie, so many moving parts, so to speak, so many people doing so many different things that if one of those things is not done correctly, it screws up the entire shot or, that take or whatever. We learned a lot. I learned a lot from the entire process, from pre-production to actual production, post-production, all that stuff, which we're still in post-production and still learning things as we're going.
I will say though, for a first time, I think things went relatively smoothly.
I think it did. I think a lot of that has to do with the crew that we hired, the AD and DP and LSDs and all that other stuff. It was these guys were great. And the entire shoot we've been joking, saying, yeah, you guys are making us look good. Well, they literally made us look good. The crew they were just amazing. And we had people who have worked on Star Wars films on the crew. We've had people who worked on shows like Game of Thrones on the crew.
Yeah, somebody's did special effects for Game of Thrones, Maleficent, and Justice League. That came out to. The gaffer that Chris Vaughn, he worked on the freaking prequels. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. No, everybody that actually worked on this thing is like 900 more times qualified to make a movie than we are. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to hire them, is because we wanted this thing to look and sound good, and we wanted it to be the best it can be. And when it comes to storytelling, we can tell a story, but when it comes to actually making a movie, we need people that know how to make a movie. Because we're green with that sort of thing. I will say very overwhelming at times, extremely overwhelming at times. There were times I was like, I'll get on the set and I was like, I'm way in over my head here. What did I get myself into? But overall, everything, it seemed to work itself out. And then a lot of that does go to the crew and the fact that they're experienced people. And there's a reason why you look at the end credits of a movie and there's a ton of people on there. It's because there is a lot of jobs on a movie set that need to get done, and a lot of times it's one person. It's just easier if one person handles one thing, and it's like the old saying that you got one job. Make sure that job gets done correctly and well, because if it doesn't, then it could screw up the entire day's worth of filming. And if that happens, then you're throwing thousands of dollars down the drain, because if you don't film anything that day, that's camera rentals, that's equipment rentals, that's crew being paid, that's just down the drain, and you don't got a second of footage to show for it. Just anything from like, when a cast shows up, that's why you get the second AD, and Christine did a good job of that and making sure everybody that needs to be there, they get a call sheet the day before, knowing exactly when they're going to be there, what scenes they're filming. And we had one scary moment on set where one of our actors, they were late in the morning. And we thought that he may have legitimately died, and we were.
I'm laughing now, but it's not funny.
Well, no, at the time, it was panic mode.
Yeah,
because
we couldn't get a hold of him. Nobody, anyone who had his number, he wasn't answering. It was pretty scary. He's an older gentleman, so it was kind of a legit concern.
It was legitimately concern. Yeah, it was. I wasn't trying to be funny. We were like.
Yeah, and in the moment, it definitely was a legit concern, but.
If he had not showed up that day, it's like. We would have had to just rewrite the script on the fly and make sense of him not being there, which would have just really, really ruined that entire thing.
Yep.
And it just wouldn't have been as good. So there are always little panic moments like that on the set that make you want to pull your hair out and extreme worry.
That was probably the biggest one, or at least that I had knowledge of. That was probably one of the biggest worry moments with making the movie. Excuse me. Oh.
Well, because if you're Marvel or Disney or same thing now, but if you're Fox or same thing.
It's Disney. Universal.
If you're Disney, you have the luxury of being like, okay, if one day screws up, so what? We'll just go back and shoot the next day. We don't have that luxury.
Do that, no. Yeah.
And that's what I think the biggest takeaway from this is for me is the challenges of being a low budget independent filmmaker, and that is when you're working with low budget, it's not necessarily like you can't get that big actor or whatever to be in it. It's you have to cram the entire script into a very small amount of days, and that's the reason for that is because every day you shoot is money.
Yep.
So. We don't have the luxury of shooting 30 days because that would have taken twice the budget because there's camera rentals, there's crew. I've been through that. Like, there's camera rentals, there's equipment rentals.
I'm actually glad you touched on this because, the principal filming, put it that way, was done over 17 days of filming over 3 weeks. We worked 6 days week 1, 5 days week 2, and 6 days week 3.
And 12-hour days.
12-hour days. So we put in 70, 62, and 70 hours respectively. So in that first week we worked almost, a two-week full-time job.
Yeah.
Basically. And there were days where it went a little bit over. It was, but it's what we had to do. It's what we had the budget for. Honestly, I'd have preferred 10-hour days because work 12-hour days, you get off, you're tired. Yeah. You have time to go eat. There was a few days we had to go, find a couple more pieces for wardrobe and this and that. And by the time you get home, you run lines for an hour. It's 9 p.m. and you're like, I'm fucking tired. I'm just going to bed because you got to be up at 4:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'd have preferred 10-hour days, but then that would have pushed us to minimally another five to 6 days of shooting. So another week easy, which would have been literally tens of thousands more dollars, and we didn't have it. We don't have it.
So and that's the job of Rudy, our first AD, is to do the most cost-effective schedule with what we have to work with and to cram because the trick is, his job is to look at the script and be okay. These 3 pages. It's only 3 pages, but there's a lot of action. There's a lot of stuff in there, so we need to take that and just do that in one day. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of there's a science that goes behind all that stuff. But roughly speaking, when you're a low budget like we are, you have to cram as many pages of the script into a single day as possible and just get through it as quickly as possible. If you're Disney, you can spend one day going over just one page of the script and making sure it is like as perfect as it can be, like go through it with a fine-tooth comb. But with us, we may have to do 4 pages, or hell, there were days that we had to do 8 pages of the script. And what happens is, there's only a certain amount of hours in a day, so if something isn't perfect, you only have a certain amount of time to get it right. There's only a certain amount of time to get different angles. There's only a certain amount of time to get that little insert shot or this little quick little shot right here. I want to get fancy and get a dolly shot and put the camera on rails. Well, we don't really have time for that.
While it sounds like 12-hour days is long, when it really comes down to it, it's not a lot of time because there's a lot of, it's funny, on the movie set, a lot of hurry up and wait. You talked about, Christine, she was sending outsides and wrangling everyone up on set and making sure they're supposed to be. And, she got on me several times because we break and I go eat donuts or something. And she's like, Jay, they need you on set. Like, let's go. So I get over there. I'm standing around for 20 minutes. Every time that camera moves, okay, so let's say it's on a wide shot, right? It's a certain lighting. They go in close on Billy. You got to redirect and change all the lights. You go close up on me. You got to rechange and redirect all the lights. Same thing with Eric, with Chief, with Dave, with Jim, with anybody who's on camera.
Change the lens on the camera.
Right.
So that's 5-10 minutes right there.
And then, like you said, if you want a dolly shot is, if you watch the vlog, it looks like literally two pieces of pipe, and they're held on by stands, and the camera is on a piece of wood that has, I guess, wheels or rollers on them. And what it does, it allows you to move the camera smoothly like this without any kind of jerks or, bumping around or anything like that. That takes time to set up.
There were plenty of times where I was like, man, I would love to get a really nice dolly shot here because it's going to look the best. But it's like, okay, we just don't have time.
Yeah.
So what's more important, getting that really super amazing shot or making sure we have enough material to cover me in editing? So, usually I would, go to the side and make sure I have enough in editing. Not to say we didn't get some really cool dolly shots. We were able to get plenty, but would have loved to get a few
But there
more.
were times, though, where scenes had to be changed, literally changed right in the moment. We had to rewrite scenes. When I was supposed to jump through the window, actually. And I was really bummed I didn't get to do that. We had a shot where I'm on a second floor, and Chief tries to scare me, and I act like I'm freaked out, and I jump through the window of a second floor, and then I come downstairs, open up the door for the guys. We had to scrap that because we were pressed for time, and it was basically, if we don't, we're going to be here till like 8 o'clock in the morning, which we couldn't do because we were already working till 5:30 in the morning, and half of the day was going to be in a different location than where we were at the moment.
That's one of the biggest challenges with when you're making a movie like that is a company move in the middle of the day. And what that means is by company move is basically taking all the gear, all the lights, all the equipment, everything, packing up, putting it in the trucks, and moving to a different location. That takes hours.
Even if you're 5 minutes away, it takes hours.
Because these lights have to be set up
yes.
and taken down and undone
and cooled down.
And cool down, yeah.
If they can be touched.
Exactly. Like if the lights are on, you can't even pack them up until like 15-20 minutes after they turn off because the things are so damn hot. Yeah. So this has to. So when you're doing a company move in the middle of a shooting day, that's 2 hours down the drain. And then you got to figure out where to put the generators for the power. Because a lot of this is night stuff.
The noise too.
Noise
because generators were loud, so they had to kind of be out. And I think at one point I saw them cover them up with like pieces of plywood and put blankets on top of that just to
you have to
muffle that sound.
You have to figure out ways to get around that.
So it was really. It was fun. It was fun.
It was fun. There were things going into this that, I things that I knew we needed to have, like a first assistant director, script supervisor, things like that just you have to have on a movie set. But there were other things going into. I'm like, okay, we just don't have the budget for that. Like art director. I'm like, okay, what's an art director going to do? I quickly found out that an art director is essential. Because without Mo, who was our art director,
him and his girlfriend,
and Mandy, they would basically go and build the sets. They would dress up a room to make it look like the way it's supposed to, and they without them, I'm not exactly sure how we would have done some of the things I was wanting to do. That's another thing that ended up costing, but in the end, it was worth it. It was kind of essential.
Now, things you can cut on is hiring someone for a wardrobe because, you just do it yourself.
Which we
But
did.
You had to. You had to, though.
Which we did, yeah.
But no, this movie is going to look amazing, is going to look and feel like a regular Hollywood feature film. We didn't film it with the camera that we're filming with now or our other camera. I guess this is our secondary, right? Our primary camera that we filmed.
It's pretty much
Chasers
primary
with,
now.
We didn't use any of that. We actually had to use, what was the camera? An Alexa.
An RE Alexa.
RE Alexa.
And the setup, the setup with all the, because those types of cameras, you don't just buy the camera.
It was a $180,000 setup.
It was $180,000 setups because you gotta, and then we didn't buy it. This is all rentals, but you have to. It's just basically a block. These type of industry cameras, they're just a block, and then it's, oh well, you want to be able to see what you're shooting. You need a viewfinder. You need the battery pack. You need all the lenses, of course. And
Yep.
so you had to basically build the kit, and yeah, it was as well over 100K for the kit that we got. But in the end, it's going to be worth it because the picture's going to look amazing.
Yeah, it's going to look great. So I've said from the beginning, if the worst part about this movie is the acting, then I'm okay with that because we're not actors. And like I said, it's going to look amazing. It's going to sound amazing. The sound guys, Alejandro, and he was a boom operator, and
Robbie.
Other Robbie was, I guess, the mixer. I don't know what he would be called in
They
the
said
moment,
that it's different.
Sound engineer.
Sound
engineer. Anyways,
recordist is
right.
what they normally
They
call
were amazing. It's going to sound great. It's going to look great. Between Peter, who is the director of photography, and Rudy, the AD, the shots are going to look amazing. The special effects or practical effects, I guess, even with just haze or fog, and the set design, everything's going to look great.
And that's
I'm saying this again now. Hang on. If the acting is the worst part about this movie, then I'm okay with that because we're not actors. Speaking of which, how did you feel about performances?
It was. No, it was actually it was actually better than I expected, like from everyone.
I agree.
I'm not including myself in that, by the way, but it was there are certain individuals in here, Eric, Game Dave,
Jim,
to somebody I literally just found in my gym.
You're talking about Lemmy. Yeah. Yeah, man, a lot of dude, there were so many non-actors on this movie, it's crazy. So some of the people even that, aren't, that you haven't seen on our YouTube, not the Game Chasers crew, whatever, they're not actors. He literally found this guy, at his gym. He's had this look. He's a chatty guy, so he obviously had the sound. But I think he did great.
He did beyond great. He stole the scenes that he was in.
I agree with that. Even Chief, who got the script 2 days beforehand, because we didn't have that part filled. We had a guy originally. He backed out. Then we hired a guy. He backed out, and it landed on Chief. He was like, "Yeah, I can do it." And we were literally going over lines the night before and the day of, and changing lines because it was funny. Because at one point he's reading the lines. He's laying on my couch, and he's like, "Bro, I wouldn't talk like this. This sounds like a nerdy white guy." I'm like, well, that's who it was fucking written for, so we got to chief it up. And that was kind of became a thing with me and Eric telling him, hey, chief it up. Put your own personality into it. What's on paper, you don't have to say. You can absolutely change that, whatever. So there was a lot of that stuff, a lot of rewording, not necessarily rewriting what was being said, but rewording how it was being said because, Chief, who is obviously not a nerdy white guy, versus the original person it was written for was Chad Tronick. Let's be honest, nerdy white guy. That's why we wanted him in the role. Anyhow, he did a great job with that, and then once he kind of found how he wanted to play the character, combination of, himself and that caricature of himself, if you will, then he got way more comfortable with it. But we hired a few actual actors in roles that they feel. They did an excellent job. Like the guy who played Jar is. Oh God, he was great.
Freaking, he's a scene stealer too. That whole sequence, he was
great.
Really awesome.
So, are you gonna if we make another movie, you gonna act in it?
Probably not.
No, you're more comfortable behind the camera.
Yeah, like I have no business being in front of the camera. The only reason I'm doing it is because it's a game chaser's
I'm
movie,
good.
so.
I'm good not acting honestly ever again unless it's like a cameo or something like that. But I definitely would like to make more movies / documentaries going
This
forward.
one, once you guys watch it, you'll understand what I'm about to say. But it lends itself well to like one of the best spin-off ideas you can imagine.
Oh man, Dave and Eric were already planning that spin-off movie. So we need this movie to be a success so we can give you guys the spin-off. And yeah, once you see the movie, you're gonna be like, yo, that'd be a good spin-off movie. And I mean, it's gonna be obvious once you watch it. If you can't put it together just by following, the pictures and vlogs and stuff like that we've been doing. So
Yeah.
But anyhow, that was another big thing. Car broke down day one.
Oh yeah.
We had to get a tote to set. That was awesome.
They say that everything that can go wrong on a movie set will go wrong, and that's absolutely true. You got so many moving parts. You got 15 crew members. You get 10 cast members in a day. All this equipment. Something's going to happen. Something's going to go wrong. And there was nothing catastrophic. No, somebody's car got smashed by a falling light.
Well, that's a little of an exaggeration. There was a dent put in the hood, so that cost us money to not. It's easier to basically pay to get the fix, or he wound up. We worked a deal out with him, but then that was way better than filing on the insurance.
Yeah,
which probably could potentially cost us more money.
Yeah, there were things that run up the cost of stuff. There was the fact that we were shooting in RAW, which is the best quality video, so we had to spend $350 twice to get more drives to hold all the footage.
No. That's.
Yeah, we had to buy 2 extra drives.
Yes. Okay, you're right. I was thinking something else.
And then the fact that it was it's freaking cold. We were outside. And it was like 40 degrees or 36 degrees or something, and we were shooting all outside in the rain.
Yes.
So we had to get like blankets and warmers and heaters and all this stuff.
You know what's funny is since we've wrapped, we have not had a single bad weather day. It hadn't even been cold. I think it's just now today. We've been wrapped for what? 3 weeks?
2 weeks.
2.5 weeks, something like that. And it's just now it was getting cold as I got here.
Yeah,
but the weather's been nice.
Has
It's
it been
like
raining?
60 degrees.
Yeah.
Hadn't been raining. Yeah, but
No, that's about right.
That's our luck, though.
That's about right. Which is going to cause me some editing problems because there's the first part of the scene it's raining, and then we shot the next part of the scene on a sunny day. So now I got to figure out a clever way in editing to make sense of the fact that all of a sudden it's sunny. But I guess that's just something paranormal that will take place. Who knows? But yeah, that's it. I guess we'll wrap it up here. Thank you guys for everyone that supported the movie. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you. Oh, we do have a revolving Indiegogo. Put the link and all that stuff in the description. You can still order the movie, guys. Trust me. I mean, don't wait. Not that we're gonna run out, but please, even at this point, we still have stuff we need to pay for, and this is not me, begging for money right here because we got the money to cover, but we want to cover our coverage basically. So, but you're gonna get a Blu-ray out of it. So go on and order that. It's gonna be cram-packed with extras. Gonna be definitely a commentary track, most likely a mini documentary because we like doing that. And are we out of time?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay, so all that, the links in the description, and thank you guys very much for those of you who have bought and supported the Kickstarter. Yes. And continue to support that Indiegogo. We got a revolving thing going there, so you can definitely order one. And once the trailer drops, if you haven't ordered it, I know you're gonna. Trailer will be out in 2 weeks. I'm lying about that.
No, actually, I might have a trailer out. I'll definitely have a trailer out by the end of January. 100%. 100%.
Ooh.
Maybe a trailer's a bad way. Maybe a teaser.
Teaser, yes.
Teaser. At least.
Oh, and we're shooting for summer 2020. I know that's going to be asked. So there it is, summer 2020.
Somewhere around that. Yeah.
As a release.
We're shooting for. Obviously, it's some things are a little bit out of my control with that, but that's the goal. And I literally forgot what I was going to say.
Well, see you later.
God, what was I gonna say? It was extremely important. Clearly, I don't know.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.